One thing I will say is don't worry about the extra stuff. Like once you have your computer, once you have the hardware set up in order to just start streaming, just start, because each day that you wait is going to make it more and more difficult. You know what I mean? So as soon as you have whatever it is that you need, whether, like a camera, microphone, computer, and obviously a chair to sit in, like I would just start making content. Don't need to wait to make things perfect. I know we say this a lot on the channel, but it is really important to literally just start streaming as soon as you have the opportunity to. You know what I mean? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of StreamKey. Today we have a guest that we haven't had on in a few weeks, maybe over a month or something like that. But we got Shavrolet. How you doing today, man?
Guys? I'm doing great. Just hanging out. Gonna go to the gym after this, so it's a good early morning to start off the day.
The literal flex. All right, I see you. I see you. All right, what do you stream, man?
So I've been doing trying to venture a little bit into variety. I do a lot of Clone Hero though, rhythm gaming, do some music production. So if you guys like to see the back end process, making music, that kind of thing, it's always fun. And then just random like games every now and then, like Rocket League, Overwatch, things along those lines. So,
oh yeah, man. Definitely go hit him up with a follow for us, my dudes. He's a really good guy. Definitely deserves all the support. And then we got Sadomi, the co-host, as always. What's up, Sadomi?
What's up, Veli? I miss you. I haven't seen you in a week.
I know, man. It's been too long. It's been too long. We don't hang out outside of stream because we don't live next to each other. So, or yeah, we probably would. But yeah, so we got Sadomi and Shavrolet. We don't have another guest today. The guest that we were going to have is Susie QQ, and she is unfortunately super sick. So please go give her a follow to wish her to get better or something. So today, my dudes, we got a lot of topics. I see we have a caller waiting. We're going to get through the topics first, and then we'll get into the viewer questions. So by the way, you can either join the Discord. You can do !StreamKey in the chat, and it'll pull up the Discord. You can join in on there. And we'll get you in on the video call, so you can come in and ask us questions, or you can at myself or TRUgaming, and TRUgaming preferably. And you can ask a question in the chat, and we'll get to that as well. So first topic we have today is cloud gaming is starting to release to the public. Google, Nvidia, and Microsoft have options on that front. So I think this is the topic that you brought in, Sadomi, am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, you want to talk about this a little bit?
Yeah, so cloud gaming, if you guys don't know, Google Stadia launched last year around November, and lately we've seen a lot of other services pop up as well, such as xCloud and NVIDIA GeForce, and all those services bring something different to the table. And a big discussion point that I always want to bring up with everyone else too is, where do you think cloud gaming is going to be in the future, and how's that going to affect the streaming space? Because right now, a good benefit of like cloud gaming is you don't need like impressive hardware to run games at the highest settings possible. Sure, you get some latency and some like lag here and there, but essentially, if you have the internet to support it, who says you can't stream games at full at the 1080p resolution with full ray tracing and all the other cool graphical stuff going on, but just have a pretty basic box there too? As long as you have the internet, you could do that realistically.
Yeah, I mean, it would be cool because streaming puts a huge strain on your PC, and it would totally remove the need to have a second PC. Just, well, not a need, but the preference of having to have a second computer to handle the streaming part of it. Shad, what do you think about that, man?
I mean, I think it'll be pretty good overall for the ecosystem in general. This makes it easier on people who don't maybe can't afford a good computer, things of that nature. So it's really just kind of opens up the market for new options for a bunch of different people who might not have access otherwise, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I do think that cloud gaming is going to be something that keeps getting better and better, and hopefully relatively soon it'll be something that does compete with just having the game installed on your own system, because it would be cool to not have to rely on that amount of strain. I mean, if that's the case, you can essentially play whatever games you want to on your cell phone. You know what I mean? You just hook up a controller to it, and then you're good. You can play literally any game because all you're needing is just a screen and an input device for it. So that'd be cool. Yeah,
and that was kind of one of my issues too when I was streaming earlier. Was I didn't have the PC power to run games like Apex or PUBG. PUBG was a great one because the game was completely not optimized back in 2017. That game was horrible for your PC. And so, granted, with the latency of those, yeah, maybe it's not the best games to play on stream either, but playing God of War at full settings on stream, that's an experience right there. And that's something I would love to do, but that would take a lot of processing power. Well, capture card, however you want to do that. But there's so much opportunity with cloud gaming in general, not only just for streaming, but also for gaming in general, where I think that this might even be the last console generation where we don't have a main focus on cloud gaming. The one coming up, not the so Xbox Series X and the PS5. And then Switch technically, but I think Nintendo's going to stay in the hardware route because they're kind of slow. They don't know how to use the internet. We've all played Nintendo. We've used Nintendo Switch Online, and we know they're doing the Animal Crossing. That they don't know how to use the internet. It's like your grandma still using AOL in 2020.
Our next topic is Nintendo doesn't know how to use the internet. Oh my god, that's actually it's very true. They are a little bit behind on their hardware for sure, and on their their online stuff as well. Very accurate. That caught me way off guard. I wasn't expecting that at all. So next topic we have is there's speculation that Amazon might sell Twitch's technology to other corporations. There were some, apparently Twitch didn't make as much money as Amazon wanted them to last year. And in order to make up for that, they're selling some of the technology that Twitch has, or they might be selling some of the technology that Twitch uses to other corporations, no matter what they're doing. It could be literally anybody, but just to try to make some more money, because they did. I don't remember how much Amazon actually paid for Twitch, but I know it was a lot. Like it was
short of like $1 billion.
Yeah, it was a hefty amount of money for sure. So I'm assuming they want that back and then some. So it makes sense. But what do you guys have to say about that? If you guys were able to read the article.
I mean, just like the concept of them selling stuff in general, obviously, there's like pros and cons of it. It will probably improve the competition for Twitch, like other streaming platforms, possibly sprout new ones that would have ideas that would compete with Twitch, and that would make Twitch be basically forced to adapt and try to improve themselves more than they are now. And the other flip side of that is obviously it could be detrimental to Twitch because other companies could get an upper hand on seeing the back end stuff of Twitch. Maybe figure out ways to improve upon that and make Twitch look like a lesser in that comparison. So it really kind of just depends on what side of the token you want to look at and how they would go about it and who specifically they'd be selling to, that kind of thing.
Yeah, hopefully they wouldn't sell it to any competition. But even with that, I don't know if Twitch necessarily has anything that's like super outstanding compared to like Mixer or YouTube gaming. You know what I mean? I feel like the thing that Twitch has over anybody else is, the user base for watching live content and just the community in general. Everybody that's on Twitch, or most of the people on Twitch, just really like enjoy being on Twitch just for the sake of it being Twitch. There's like entire languages almost. Like where else do you say Kappa? Things like that. Sadomi.
So I'm not surprised about this at all. If I was Amazon, I would have done this like ages ago. I'm sure they're working on it because. And just starting out with their bottom line, with how much Twitch paid for and how much they're expecting to get, these streamer contracts they're starting to fork over aren't going to help the bottom line either. Because if you offer Tim the Tap Man, we'll say his was easy. We'll say his was just like a solid $1 million just to stay. That's still going to cut into like a bottom line. Maybe it's not like a large percentage of like the couple $100 million they have, but that's still like going to eat into that. And then with streamers leaving too, you lose whoever like only strictly subs to that person as well going out, and Twitch takes cuts of that, and as partners they get higher cuts. I'm assuming. I don't have any inside information on that, so I don't know, and I probably won't be able to sell you even if I did, but I'm really not surprised. And streaming, with them selling services, businesses want anything related to streaming, because if you guys look at Twitch, it's about live connections. It's not about the video games. It's not about the gameplay. It's about the connections. Most of the streamers we watch nowadays, we don't watch because of just one game. Sure, we found them through that game, but we stayed there because we like their personality. We like how they interact with us. We like the opportunity to be able to talk to them and influence them. And if you think about your favorite celebrities, such as someone may really like Charlie Sheen, like love Charlie Sheen, and like, listen, I would love to go chat with Charlie Sheen. If I give him $5, he'll answer any question I give him. Right. Trust me.
Yeah.
They hear the dollar signs. They hear the dollar signs there. And if you think about Twitch outside of the bubble, it's amazing. It is a live chat platform. It's a live video call. Well, it's a live one-way video call that can reach millions of people potentially. We've seen this with esports, with larger broadcasters. Like the fact that Ninja could pull over 100,000 people, and all those 100,000 people have the opportunity to chat with him or like send messages to him that will influence how he does his broadcast. That is absolutely just like mind-boggling still. As for 2010 version of me could not fathom that in the same way.
I want to throw a hypothetical your way.
Mm-hmm.
Think something of, you don't even have to go to professional sports, just think like a lesser sports league. So especially think about the XFL yesterday, how a lot of people were on top of that and they were like in that, and how they were interviewing players like after every single play. What if you implemented the live chat technology and you just start pulling comments from the chat and start posting that on the screen? So you can show people talking about like that, what just happened. Just have like live reactions of people in the chat while they're interviewing that player that just screwed up or had a big play. Imagine that. That could like change an entire thing for sports too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That'd be such a fun like thing to take in like what's it called? In theory. In practice, I wouldn't want to do that though.
Well, yeah, I mean, it would be hard, but if you did it right, that would be a real cool feature to add.
Yeah, I think even kind of refining that, 'cause that's a really good idea. If you said you had a producer just highlight specific comments and show the one up on the screen, like they do with tweets sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that would probably be a better way to deliver that. But it's like I said, there's so much technology with live streaming, and Twitch honestly has one of the. I mean, they have the infrastructure for it, and they have the services where they can provide it to businesses. I do think YouTube does it better because the simple fact they have a rewind feature is just like OP. That is legitimately just like the best feature you could have for a live stream, because you get up, go to the bathroom break, you can't pause a Twitch stream and come back to where you were. It pauses and it'll lag and it goes back to where you're going to be in the future. So, but still, I think companies would definitely have a lot of potential buying out anything that Twitch would want to sell, like service wise. Are you guys familiar with Amazon Web Services?
No.
Okay.
No,
so
not at all.
Amazon does a lot of like web stuff for companies, including game companies. So if you've played any online game, they probably have a server with Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they do a lot of, everyone uses AWS, like everyone. Like it's like the most, I think everyone, pretty sure everyone uses it. And so they'll probably use it as a part of AWS. And so we'll see it integrated in there. We won't hear about it on our side as Twitch broadcasters, as Twitch people who focus on Twitch. But for people who focus on the Amazon business side of things, they'll hear it from them.
All right.
I can go on forever about this topic because I've so much. There's so much Twitch can do and like pass on that other companies would love to like take on it and not build themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll let y'all go in for this one.
All right. Next topic we have is, let's see, streamer demands hourly donos to continue streaming. This was an interesting one, and the article, I'll post the article and then I'll post the YouTube video as well, because the clip was taken down because the entire stream was deleted apparently. This is somebody, what was their name? Man, I just had it and then I forgot. Let's see here. It wasn't it?
I think it was Wings of Redemption.
Wings of Redemption. Yep. Yeah. So, and he's a partner streamer. Excuse me. And so basically he was getting trolled. He was getting like stream sniped the entire time he was playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1 or 2. 2, I think. I don't remember. But yeah, he was getting stream sniped and bullied. And for some reason he wasn't muting these people that were, following him around. He also wasn't like kicking them from his friends list, because I think he was friends with one of them. And so there's people joining through that friend, and so he kind of like let it happen in a way, and then went on to talk about how he's gonna end the stream unless he gets like $10 an hour, because it's not worth streaming that game. And I'm like, did you guys get to watch the video?
I've seen a lot of his content before.
Okay, what I'm getting is like, this isn't really like abnormal for him.
No.
You guys want to talk about this a little bit?
I'll let Shav take the head on this one.
So I mean, if you literally just search Wings of Redemption on YouTube, there's so many like fail clips and stuff where it's just him raging or getting trolled by people in a thing and him freaking out and kind of things like that. And that's just the nature of like his personality. And this like is just like, I feel like it's just kind of like a culmination of like all of his meltdowns essentially. I mean, it could be kind of playing off of the like the drama, like the past few clips that are coming out the last like month or so of people also saying like, oh, like, why aren't people subbing? It's only $5, that kind of thing. Like that whole thing that was getting memed and stuff for the past month. There's definitely people that are going to be playing off that as well. So it could be a conscious effort of him to do that alongside him actually raging as well. Could be another theory. But bottom line, like rages and freakouts and stuff aren't like new for him. So it's not like it's anything out of the ordinary. And if he's been doing it this long at this point, I don't think he's just going to quit. I think he was just saying that just to try to get something out of it since he was already upset in the situation. And it seems like he doesn't have a good time when he's streaming a lot of the time anyways, from the clips I've seen. So
yeah, at the end of the video, it shows like his messages in chat after he ended the stream saying that he doesn't really enjoy playing video games anymore. He does this, just purely for profit. He was saying that Call of Duty and Rainbow Six Siege are the only games that people will constantly donate money while he plays, but he doesn't want to play either one of those games anymore, so he's feeling burnt out. And it's definitely a lesson to like not stream games that you don't want to play just for the sake of any sort of number, whether it's view count, sub count, any sort of money that you're making from it, because it's really not worth it. Because as soon as you go outside of that, like he's saying, like you get used to people enjoying one thing, and those are the only people that will watch you, because those are people that want to watch Rainbow Six Siege or Call of Duty. So when you branch out to other things that they don't want to watch, it's kind of like starting over like fresh, which is hard to do as a streamer with an established community and viewer base. So he's like too scared to play other games, which is really, really shitty to have to deal with. But he's kind of like digging his own grave with it, Sadomi.
Yeah, we can use this into a completely very deep discussion too about struggling broadcasters, because whenever you hear about this, the first thing I always think about is this person getting frustrated because they're struggling, or another point is this is on brand for him to do this, which as ironically he could just be fronting, but I really think he is probably legitimately frustrated. And every broadcaster probably gets to a point of frustration, and a lot of them don't know how to really take that frustration and use it to create something, to take a step back. Because a lot of people attach themselves to their content. Like if your stream's not doing well and you're not having a good time doing it, your brain is thinking automatically, God, I suck. God, I'm doing nothing good here. God, I should have had that. Why am no one coming here? Why does no one like me? And so you get into this mental just like spiral downwards, and it's not good for your mental health in any way, shape, or form, and makes it even harder to take a step back and be like, look, this isn't working. What do I need to change? So I don't know. Whenever I see people like that too, I think, do they want to be a creator, or do they want to just play video games and get paid for it?
Right.
Because those are two different things, and one of those things is a lot harder to do than the other.
Yeah, and streaming is a lot of like having the right mindset as well. Like content creation is a lot of having the right mentality towards it, because if you don't set yourself up for the long haul, if you don't set yourself up to make sure that you're enjoying it the whole time, then you're like, streaming is a grind every day, whether it's a good day or a bad day. It can be difficult, and you gotta set yourself up to be able to stream for as long as possible, because like I've been doing this for 4 or 5 years or something like that, and like I haven't like made it on Twitch by any means. You know what I mean? Like I'm not a partner streamer. I'm not any of that stuff that people would expect to have been done by now. But like it's not about that. It's about just enjoying your time on Twitch, no matter what really happens, making content that you think is valuable and that you enjoy making. Shav, looked like you were about to say something.
Oh, I mean, I was just gonna say in general, like, because that whole like streaming is hard thing. Because like, I mean, I was telling you guys before the show, I've been like almost on a month now. It'll be like 6 days since my last stream, just to focus on stuff and like handle. Because I'm on my last full semester of college right now. I got 2 classes over the summer, and then I'm done. So obviously, I'm focused on graduating. And then I've got work that I'm doing on top of. I'm doing a mentorship program where you mentor like middle school or high school kids. So I've been doing that, as well as working on back in YouTube and doing podcast stuff. And I was like, I can't stream and do all this stuff. So I just kind of had to like sit back, try to handle that stuff. And then I'm shifting that more towards, I want to do a lot of offline content now when I'm not able to stream. So I'm working on like back end, like YouTube stuff. I'm working on like a podcast I've been planning for like months now with one of my friends to try to get that up and off the ground and everything. And it's like sometimes you need to take those breaks, even if like streaming is your main thing, or even if it's like, sometimes it's rough, but like if you're relying on income, it's harder to. But sometimes you kind of still need to pivot that and say like, well, I need to figure something else out in the meantime and see what I can do that's going to be better in the long term versus like, a couple $100 I might make in a couple months of streaming that I take off instead to do other ventures.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like people just got to think about that more too, especially if you're newer. It's fine to take breaks, but at the same time, like don't take a break and then complain about getting nothing out of it. Like make it a meaningful break that's going to either help you out in life off the internet or help you out with your personality stuff online that you think you can help tie it all together, that kind of thing. You want to have like all those different avenues that you want to try to have success in life to give yourself a better chance of prospering,
Right. You can't just take a break from streaming just for the sake of relaxing. Like, I mean, relaxing is good for sure, but like being productive with it is what's most important, because you're going to come back and you're probably not going to have as many viewers as you did, which is already a huge bum out for sure. Because people, like, if you take a break, some people won't know that you took a break. They'll just assume that like you're just not streaming now for whatever reason. So making sure that it's as productive as you can make it is super, super important.
Exactly. Yeah. And like as long as you're communicative with your community, like I've been a little bit, I've just told everybody that, I'm working on offline stuff. I don't want to give you guys too much details till the stuff's out, but essentially like taking it out of myself for IRL, I'm putting out new content. Like I won't be gone too much longer, that kind of thing. Like, even if you just do something simple like that, you don't even got to give a lot of detail. Just be like, yo, like I'm not done totally. I'm still here for you guys. If you guys want to talk, that kind of thing, that's fine if you have a relationship with your community. But as long as you're kind of voicing that and saying like, I just got to do some stuff, most people generally will be fine with that and they'll come back and support you and stuff. I've had people hit me up offline, be like, yo, where you at? Like that don't see the messages sometimes. And like, not like, it's like anything else, like with your stream announcements, even if you're going live, like a good 80% of your community at any given time might not see your updates or something too. Right. So you got to just kind of be constant with it and try to be forward and try to make it known that you're doing that kind of stuff. And as long as you're taking care of yourself, everything will kind of work out regardless. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, like you just kind of hit the nail on the head there. Like over communication with that kind of stuff is super important. A lot of your people that are in your stream are going to hear it multiple times, but you want to keep saying it for that one person that just joined in that hasn't been there, in a couple days or whatever it is. For whatever reason, you want to make sure that you let as many people know as possible that you're making this change or you're about to take a quick break. Nothing serious. You just taking a week off or whatever it is, just to reevaluate and adjust what you're doing. Really important to just communicate everything for sure.
Yeah.
And definitely too with not to overwork yourself, because I'm very like bad at this myself, but definitely I recommend everyone just kind of don't allow yourself to, I'll say, give yourself an extra 1.5 times amount of time to do things, because I know we all think we're Superman. We can all be like, okay, I'm gonna get this done today. When in reality, we can only get like one of those things done. So essentially, I think overworking each other is kind of a really toxic thing in the streamer community. At least for people who really want to like do stuff, because a lot of people will sacrifice other parts of their lives to make sure they're getting things done, getting social stuff done, getting streaming stuff done. But in reality, you could probably, if you sit down and think about it and kind of work out a way to do it, you could probably keep yourself and still take long breaks if you need it, but also have something going on the outside too. Maybe like schedule a YouTube video or have a very easy, simple, like cut down your streaming schedule for like 80%, or just like one day a week for like a few weeks or something. Kind of pretty much just not to overwork yourself with it, because it's, from 99% of people are doing this as a hobby, and that's fine. But treat it like a hobby and not as a full-time job, when really it's not worth that for a lot of people.
Right, absolutely. I mean, and even when it is a full-time job for you, it's smart to have the right mentality, like we've been saying. Like with this Wings of Redemption streamer, clearly he's having a really bad time on it, and it's showing. He's not enjoying streaming as much as he could be. Like, yeah, like some of it might be just for the show, just to be that toxic streamer that everybody expects. But at the same time, like, he wouldn't be saying those things off stream in his chat if some of them weren't real. You know what I mean? And you really just have to prepare. Like, a huge thing about Twitch is having the right mindset and adjusting and planning for the long haul, because it's definitely a grind. It's definitely a marathon, and there's no set path on like success or anything. Like, nothing is set in stone. There's nothing that like people will tell you that's accurate. Like, oh, you'll make it to this point by this time, because that really just doesn't happen. So you have to just like we were saying earlier, like, you just have to enjoy every stream as much as you can, and just make sure you're putting out content that you think is valuable to you. Because if you don't find it valuable, then nobody else will.
Well,
that's all I got on. Yeah, that's all I got on that one. I don't know about you guys. So the next topic is Twitch is changing its API, which is about as much as I know about APIs. I'm gonna let these two kind of take over on that one. We'll start with Sadomi.
Okay, so essentially, to put it in, I'll explain it a bit more in depth right here. So Twitch is changing a part of their API, which is their pretty much what developers use to reference certain things, such as how long someone followed for, how long someone's been on a channel for, their username, their statistics. And a lot of bots use, almost every Twitch bot you can imagine uses the API in some way, shape, or form. And so what Twitch is doing is they're changing the API to a whole different system. The system, let me check it real quick. Do you remember the system name?
I don't know what it's called now. I know they're talking about changing it to something called Helix.
Helix, yes. Yeah. So they're changing it to Helix. And essentially, it's in a whole different language than the current Twitch API, which would essentially make it so that every developer, such as the one for Nightbot, Streamlabs Chatbot, Stream Elements, and a lot of Twitch extensions, and I think like Stream Avatars, like a bunch of those, will have to completely redesign a lot of their code. And at first, Twitch is going to like change it over on the 28th of February, which was 18 days from now. Which, if you guys know the development cycle at all, or have any like experience in that field, you know that's not enough time at all to do that much of an overhaul. So a lot of people were worried that their bots and their extensions and their programs would break and things wouldn't work. And a lot of people rely on those to have streams that work consistently and have a lot of different, like, there's so much that it'll just break. And the fact that Twitch was going to just change it that quickly without that little notice is very not a good look from Twitch. Because if you compare it to Flash, how Flash is ending in December 2020. I've had that message on my Chrome since 2018, I think. So there you have time to convert everything using for Flash that you care about to another system. But 2 years versus 18 days, you can see that's not very user friendly for the devs, and it's not going to, because who can change all that in 18 days? It's a lot. Right. And a lot of these developers aren't full-time developers either, they're like hobbyist developers. And so that's where the main issue came from. Just kind of spitting in the face of the community and not giving them more time to adjust to this. Even if they gave them time, like, hey, in 2020, we're going to like release Helix and we're going to stop supporting the old API. And they announced that back in June, there wouldn't be a problem. But they announced it less than a month away from the changeover date. Yeah. So pretty much, yeah, that's pretty much all my take on that. It's not good. I don't like it. I think Shav would agree for the most part.
Yeah. So I do know they backtracked and then they postponed. There was something about like a refresh rate of, and I think they were referencing like how many times a certain type of thing could be referenced. So say like how many times you can access a channel with your information and stuff. They did push that back, which is what most developers were concerned about. But the thing is, most big companies don't change their API ever once it's public the first time. So what this does is you're essentially screwing Twitch extensions, chatbots, stat websites like Solinome, all that stuff. So we're not even gonna have access to stat stuff if Solinome can't get it up. And the creator of Solinome on Twitter was even like pretty yikes about it. They were like, yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to update this. Because not only is it like just not enough time, they have to like basically rewrite almost all of their code to fit in with that too, which is an even bigger issue, especially if you're like a 1 to 2 person coding team for a lot of these side projects. So Nightbot, better TTV, Frankers, all of that stuff's going to get jacked up if they can't get it done in time, which the way it's looking with developers now, they're trying real hard, but a lot of them are just like, yeah, we're just not going to have this done, or they don't even know if they're going to continue their projects at all, is what the general voice has been on Twitter, which is really bad because, like, especially in my channel, I've got like 40, 50 better TTV emotes in there, and people come in and spam them all the time, even out more than like Twitch emotes sometimes. And you'll notice that with like a lot of bigger channels or like just active chats as well that have better TTV setups. So it's just taking a whole segment of like community interaction out, which is just bad if they can't get this set up, or if they can't figure out a way to work with developers better on this. It's just going to be really rough if it turns out worse than what we initially think.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, so I don't know, I'm very not tech savvy at all, but I read the Twitter post about this. I read the entire thread that was it that posted that? Regardless,
I think I gave it to you. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So there was a really long Twitter thread about about like what an API is for people like me who have no idea, you know what I mean, and like why it affects everything, and is like it. When you hear that Twitch is basically spitting in the face of developers, it sounds like you're just attacking Twitch. But like when you go through this article and you read about like how many issues this is going to cause on how many different, other services that a lot of streamers rely on for their chat, it like they might not have meant it in an aggressive way. They might, it might have been like something that they just didn't really think about, like, oh, we'll give them 18 days and they'll just work double, quadruple overtime to get it fixed. You know what I mean? But like it might not be something that they tried to do to be rude to people, but it shows that they just don't care enough to put the thought in that other developers need to have more time than 18 days to adjust, because it's ridiculous that they gave them that short of a time frame.
So what I think this comes down to is the person who releases that information is not the same person that is making the decisions to switch over to Helix and at what time they switch over to Helix. So I think it's a miscommunication between the development team and the Twitter, the social media team, or the public relations team, the PR team, because it was released. I think it was released a bit earlier, maybe like start of January, but a month is still not a lot of time. So either way, with it being released earlier, maybe the PR team didn't get information that this was going to happen until the dev team already had everything moved over and fixed. Like, hey, we're switching over to this. And then one person like, maybe we should tell the PR team we're doing this. And like, oh crap, yeah, we should. And they sent it over. Because that's something we hear. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I mean, the main thing it would fall under is just management teams. Like the people that oversee all of the projects, that's on them for oversighting it and not making sure everybody communicates. That's the biggest issue. It's not lower end Twitch staff or anything like that. It's like it's definitely higher up in the company that it's going on.
Yeah, and like we've definitely seen throughout all of our time and experience on Twitch that there is like a huge lack of communication when it comes to basically anything, whether they're releasing something new, whether they're changing an API, anything. It does feel like there's just not really any real communication going. Because like when Ninja left Twitch for Mixer, like there was that shade thrown at Ninja on his channel where they started advertising other Fortnite streamers and saying this person's in a different castle. But then like a month later, you have other people on Twitch basically like saying that they'll miss Ninja and everything. And it's just like there's no cohesive answer to anything, it seems like. And it's just they just need to communicate more.
Yeah, I think honestly, if you think really hard about it, we were talking about something earlier, how Twitch was not making the financial numbers that Amazon wants. But look at all the features they released lately. They released the hype train. They released like some bits extensions, like all those. Like we have a lot of updates that focus on getting Twitch more money. Yet there's so many other things that we want released. I know there are different teams doing those, but you have to think that maybe there's some upper pressure to Amazon that's pushing them to hit a bigger bottom line.
Absolutely.
And with the streaming wars in almost full effect now, how's it going to affect Twitch going forward? Are they going to focus more on trying to get the dollar bills, or are they going to focus on delivering value first and foremost? because right now they have the only thing they have right now, I think that truly beats out the other competitors is first mover advantage, comfortability with their users, and also just the sheer amount of users too.
Right.
But they're also very niche. Like Twitch is very gaming oriented, even though its largest category in almost every single day is just chatting.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to see. I don't know exactly how Twitch is going to truly respond, but I think upstairs in the boardroom, they're going to have to make a lot of active decisions to either increase the value to prove why you want to come to Twitch versus why do you want to spend money on Twitch.
Right.
And figure out how to mix those together. Because right now, if you're a brand new broadcaster, I don't see a reason for you to go to Twitch right now. But at the same time, I don't really have any other reason for you not to come to Twitch at the same time. I'm kind of talking in circles.
Cons to each platform.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying. Like you can, like, as a new streamer, you can essentially get the same thing on most other platforms that you could on Twitch. But at the same time, Twitch also has the user base that like Mixer doesn't have. So there's so many trade-offs to each platform that if you're starting out brand new, you can't really go necessarily wrong with either one of them. The only issue is like which one does better down the road, and how successful will that switch be for you? You know what I mean? If you do have to switch, say you pick the wrong one, you know, like with Shroud switching over to Mixer and only 15% of his viewers, you know, show up on his Mixer streams. As a smaller streamer, like, and especially as somebody that's not Shroud, you know, like how much less of your viewers are going to be switching over with you, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right now, Twitch is essentially the Disney of the live stream market.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say, or sorry, rather, it's the Netflix. It's the Netflix of one. There's other services that may fit your niche better or fit content you like better. But if one show leaves off of Netflix, you're probably gonna watch something else on Netflix. You're not going to just leave Netflix because of one show and then go subscribe to Hulu that has the only show. Although people do that. Game of Thrones is a good example.
I would also add, because like you could argue that Twitch could go for sports stuff as well. The only thing I don't see is that I would see Amazon just putting that in Prime Video before they would put that on Twitch, unless they wanted that chat interaction. Because like a lot of people would argue like, oh, well, for money revenue, they'll just do sporting events or like bigger events and stuff. And it's like, well, you know, not necessarily, because they're already doing that with Thursday Night Football with Amazon Prime. And yeah, they added it over to Twitch, but they still have it on Prime Video and stuff like that. So it's not like they need to. It's not like they don't have another video platform. So just thinking like in terms of that would be naive as well to think that they would just do that for the money aspect, because they can just do that elsewhere and not even have to use Twitch. So
sorry about that. So do you think that the higher projections on what they're supposed to make last year, and them obviously not making what Amazon wanted them to, do you think part of that is do you think part of that has something to do with affiliateship dying down in hype? Because when affiliate first came out, there was a bunch of streamers already, you know, available to get affiliate, right? So you have all of these communities that want to support the streamer who hasn't hit partner yet, but now they have a way to financially support the streamer, like gifting subs wasn't a thing, but subscribing and just cheering bits. So obviously that was a huge spike in profits for Twitch. And then as time goes on, becoming an affiliate becomes much less significant. It's much less hype for your community, because like being an affiliate isn't a brand new thing. It might be a new thing for that community, sure. But when when you just hit affiliate, you have 3 active viewers, 50 followers, and a little bit of time each week streaming, right? So it's not really that crazy anymore. There's nothing super exciting about that. You know what I mean? So you also have less people that are trying to grind for affiliate, because they're seeing that affiliate doesn't mean you're going to make all this money now. Because you got to remember, when affiliate was first a thing, there's people asking for follow, lurk for lurk all the time. And there's definitely been a lot, like a dip in those kind of requests recently. So you have all these people getting affiliate. Community's not necessarily blowing up in support, financially over it. And obviously less people are trying to stream just to get affiliate. So you have less people just streaming actively all the time, trying to grind for that. And so that I feel like has a huge part to play in the overestimation of what they were supposed to make last year. You know what I mean?
I would argue an alternative. So think about the timeline of where they're coming down. Sadomi's gonna like this one because this is way out of the box and for most people think. So think about the timeline where they're thinking their profit margins. They're opening up last year with Fortnite being huge, Ninja being huge, getting mainstream. You're not hearing about as many other streamers besides like huge Fortnite streamers blowing up and Ninja. And as the year goes on, because this is like 2018 is more where he was popular in Fortnite, obviously. You get the beginning of 2019, it starts dying down. He's becoming less relevant in a mainstream space, kind of. And on Twitch, certainly there was like the battle of like he was losing a lot of his subs, which some would argue was part of his decision to move and everything. And you go from there to about halfway through the year, he's switching to Mixer. I think that contributes a lot more than the affiliate dying down to their revenue coming in because, your biggest streamer leaves the platform. You got more people and more rumors circulating that more people are going to leave the platform. You've got more attention on Mixer and YouTube starting halfway through the year because of the move. And on top of that, like I said, Ninja was already kind of dying down in relevance on Twitch specifically, as was Fortnite viewership and everything else along those lines, which was like the main staple game everybody came on Twitch to come watch, and like parents were familiar with and everything for their kids that had never been on Twitch or anything, like, young children and whatnot. And so I would say that weighs a little more heavily than the affiliate phenomenon, because I would argue the availability of affiliate would have meant more people would want to come on and stream, more people would want to put time into it to try to make money, because Twitch was the only option at the time. But now that you've got the relevance of other big platforms coming up that you can monetize, that completely changes it, especially when your top streamers are getting bought out by other companies.
Right. Well, so you're kind of saying, like, I understand what you're saying, but what I'm saying is that when all these streamers start to try to hit affiliate and they're hitting affiliate and they're not making the ninja bucks like they were expecting, like immediately, like they realize that it's still a grind. Just because you hit affiliate doesn't mean you're going to be making money. I think the appeal of streaming in general, or just streaming on Twitch, just to be an affiliate, I think the appeal of that dies down with it. And that makes it so less people are streaming actively. So that means that those streams aren't getting as much money. And like we said before, if you have 10 viewers, you're in the top 5% of Twitch as far as like channel size. Yeah. So that's a lot of channels not making any money because those streamers realize that it's harder to make money than they thought it was going to be. They thought just because they were going to hit affiliate, they were going to get so many subs. Doesn't mean they thought they were going to make a lot, but they thought they'd get a payout after a couple months or something. But realizing that it's more difficult, so that means that they're streaming less because they're thinking that this isn't financially viable for them at the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a combination a little bit. I'm sure Sadomi has some insight too. I mean, nothing like this is extremely straightforward as one thing or another. But I think if you just like look back at the timeline, a big part of it was the dying down of relevance of big games like Fortnite and Ninja losing popularity on Twitch, and then him moving and setting off the domino effect of other people moving and new platforms coming up and whatnot is what my perspective is.
Yeah, no, and I totally agree with that as well. Like, there's a lot of factors that have come into play to make Twitch less popular or less appealing, for sure. You know what I mean? Sadomi?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think Fortnite declining did affect that a lot. But I think that, again, like Shav said, it's not the only thing. It's a list of things. Because if you also remember, 2019 was the year Prime lost its capability for blocking ads on Twitch. And so with that, I'm assuming you had a few users who were a bit more tech savvy install ad block from that as well. And so therefore that kind of already there. You have people not resubbing to Prime because they don't find a use for it. Like me, I have Amazon Prime, but I don't get deliveries like often enough to justify paying $100-something for it. And then if you notice, Q1 of 2019 was Twitch's highest numbers ever. And then that just was only going to go down like from there. And so if you base any of their projections from the start of Q1, then yeah, definitely everything's going to go down for sure. And Twitch is it's with getting a lot of competition too. Like the hype of streaming itself is definitely going down in a different way. It's going down in a personal, like I can stream, I can do this kind of mentality. Because at this point, if you're a gamer, you're also a streamer. There's very few people I know who haven't streamed who also play games.
Right. Who haven't at least given it a shot.
Yes. And with it being that accessible, it makes it less of a, how can I put it? It makes less people realize that it's important for people to actually like stream to be important on Twitch. And people just, if everyone streams, not any one stream is really that, significant. So yeah. And back to Prime, because I think Prime was actually a really good example. Twitch Prime, I don't see, besides the free sub, financially, I don't see a reason to have it.
If you're into playing indie games, then it 100% is worth it for sure.
Yeah.
Because they do offer free games every month. And the extra DLC that comes with, like you can get like an Apex skin or Rainbow Six Siege. There is that appeal for sure. But I do understand what you mean. Like if you don't play those indie titles, the Twitch Prime sub is pretty much the only reason. And I 100% agree with what you're saying there for sure.
Yeah. And like I said, I'll be honest, I think Prime is ideally, if Prime was a like Twitch Plus, I think a Twitch Plus, if Prime became a Twitch Plus, that'd be much better. Because me as a Twitch user, I'd be more inclined to use Prime if it was for Twitch centric stuff. If it gave me bonus features that I, as not only a viewer but also as a broadcaster,
right,
was able to use as well. And unfortunately, Twitch Prime is more of just, hey, you're a gamer who watches Twitch. Here's some cool stuff that gamers would like. Which in reality, I want stuff that a streamer that I like, that as a streamer I would have. And there is a beautiful show that I know King Robo is
he's here right now, dude.
I know. I love it. I love it.
Hating on Twitch Prime.
Well, here's the thing. I'm very blunt with how I say things. And the reason why I bring this up is because I did have Twitch Prime. I actually renewed it because I like the free sub. I like the ad-free experience. That was my favorite part about Twitch Prime when I first did it.
Right.
So kind of having that all together, when I think of Twitch Prime, I think of a Twitch Plus experience, not necessarily as a Twitch Plus bonuses experience here.
I would, so we're talking about profit margins at Twitch as well, right?
Right.
And when you're talking about Twitch Prime as well, Twitch isn't getting the money for Amazon Prime subscriptions.
You don't think so? We can ask somebody to answer this question, possibly.
That would be good. I would assume they would lump that in with Amazon, though, because your Amazon Prime starts on Amazon and you link your Twitch to it. So I would assume that in general sense, that would mean their profits get added to Amazon. And then when you cascade that along with Twitch, where Twitch, you're just getting a free sub and you don't have to pay to sub to a streamer. And in turn, you just get that free Twitch Prime. I think that has an extent of an effect on profit margins as well in comparison to like what they expected. I would say that affects it at least a little bit.
I do want to see if Robu's able to answer that. He might not be able to, obviously, but if he is able to answer that question, if Twitch does make money off of the Twitch Prime subs, that'd be interesting. Because if they don't, I mean, regardless, both possibilities make a lot of sense. You know what I mean? It would make sense for that to just go straight to Amazon for sure, but at the same time, it would make sense for it to go to Twitch. And we really don't know where the money goes, and I don't know if he's allowed to tell us. Totally understandable. Yeah. I'm not going to try to pry it out of him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, assuming. But like, if you think about it in sense where like you're giving a free sub, the viewer pays nothing, and the streamer's getting paid money from Twitch, then obviously just outside optics, that looks like a bad look on just pure profit and revenue. Like you're just giving away money in essence, just on the one platform, even though the other platform's getting money, you know?
Yeah. It all depends. I mean, there's a lot of things back there that we really don't know, so I don't want to comment too much on that. You know what I mean? Because we could just be speculating and be completely wrong, and I don't want to just dive into a topic that I really don't know about.
Fine.
from learning about kind of, I'm not sure if it works the exact same way, but kind of I've talked to a lot of like retail store managers who do something similar, and essentially, actually, Robo answered that. To say what he can. All right. Because of weird inner office politics, they pay Twitch for people using the sub on Twitch. Okay. So essentially, yeah, they're good. They're good. They take that. Okay. Thank you, Robo.
Glad we have him here to back us up.
Yeah.
One thing I will say is I do like having the fact that Twitch staff does have their own like icon. They are going to show up in chats of streams. It does help with the community feel of Twitch. And that right there is one thing at Twitch. Like I said, I always say this all the time. This is the one thing Twitch does really well, this sense of community. Because that is the bread. That's the bread and butter right there. That's their bread and butter. And a focus on that is, like I said, that's what I think is going to be the best thing for Twitch if they keep going forward. Because I don't think any other really platform can do the same thing that Twitch has done with that community yet. Especially just because, one, people have been on Twitch for years. Like some people have been on Twitch for 10 plus years. Some people have been on Twitch since they were like 15, now they're 25. Some people were streaming back when they were 14, like myself, and now they're 26, trying to figure out what they're doing with their life. And Twitch is like kind of, or just the streaming world in general with Twitch, not only to Twitch, but also with Justin TV, has been there for such a long time. Like having that built in, like almost generational at that point, that built in, like I said, that built in love for the platform that grows over time is something that you can only beat with time. And it's like if someone tried to convince you, if you like drinking Coke, to start drinking Shabashu Cola. Like you're still going to remember Coke because Coke's been advertising for 30 years, for 40 years, for almost for 100 years. They know. They have that.
Right. And actually, we are going to have Robu on next week as one of the guests. So he'll be able to get into this a little bit more, which would be cool.
I'm so excited for that show.
I don't want to force him. Like, tell us all your secrets, Robu. Next week, we need them. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
So that's all I got about that. I don't know if you guys want to continue talking about the finances behind Twitch. No, okay. So we have a return caller coming in. Anti-Grav plays. So once we get the scene switched over, we'll pull him in. And chat, don't forget that you can ask us questions by adding myself, Veloc_TV, and TRUgaming in the chat, or you can call in on Discord and we'll pull you in and you can ask us questions live on the show. All right, let's get Anti-Grav in here.
All right. Oh God, crazy ass is the call.
Anti-Grav?
Hey, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, sir. What's up, man?
Yeah, I'm using my phone. Apologies if the quality's worse.
Totally fine.
So first wanted to say, Veloc, good haircut, man. You're looking good, dude.
Thanks,
Not
man.
sure if you lost some weight too.
No, I think I've actually gained weight.
Okay. My bad, man. You're looking kind of cute right now. So I had two questions. My first question was Sadomi, and I'm going to keep it concise this time, I promise, guys. Sadomi, as a fellow person of color, I was wondering, your streaming experience is obviously different from a lot of other streaming experiences out there. What are some tips and tricks and stuff you've learned throughout your years that you think that other fellow, I guess, people of color streamers out there should implement within their stream as like safeguards and whatnot? And if you can just tell us a little bit more about that experience, because I'm sure that's a lot different than what your average streamer goes through.
Yeah. So actually, ironically, I actually talk about this on my stream a lot. Whenever someone, at least now, makes a comment on the color of my skin, I tell them, are you here because I look a certain way, or here because you like what I'm talking about? Because I could turn my camera off. In fact, I could do this and my content will be exactly the same. Nothing would change. In fact, people who are listening, I just close my camera. Like nothing would change. The thing that would change is you don't have all the visual stimulation that you have from my camera. That's literally it. So essentially, I don't even like think about that anymore. Like that's actually so far back. Like I even forgot I was black until you set it up just right now. Like I legit just didn't even think about it.
My bad, dude. I didn't want to remind you of that fact.
I mean, it's not like it's not a bad fact. Like I like the way I look. Like I love the way I look. I looked in the mirror and I was like, I wish I was gay because I would date myself in a hot second.
Same.
God, look, you see me? I'm beautiful. You see shiny, like,
Yeah.
listen, you see this shine? Respect my shine, dog. Like, you see this? It is
That's
just,
turtle
Hell
wax,
yeah,
bro.
man.
like, I
You
buffed
go,
this
bro.
morning. I buffed this morning. You can tell. So essentially, I just don't like focus on it. And pretty much the way I view chat is a privilege. Like if you say something, I have no obligation to respond to it. I have I have no obligation to even acknowledge it's there. Like if I respond, it's not really like condescending, but if I respond to your chat, it means I think you said something that was worth responding to because it adds something to the conversation. It's something important and something that I've gained value for myself. And so if I treat my chat and my viewers with that respect, I expect them to treat them with that same respect as well. And if they don't, then I don't give them that same respect as well. Like I don't even ban people in my chat that often. I just completely don't even look at it. I'm like, it's that. And I'm like, okay, cool. Let's move on. I don't even acknowledge it. Like I just focus on what I give and what other people give. And also, if your content revolves around, I say this all the time. If your content, I don't know, it's kind of weird for Twitch because again, I say it's about community, but the way I kind of do my streams, it's less about what everyone is kind of connecting and more about what I can give out to you, what we can discuss together. So if I have to rely on chat for my content, I don't have content. So therefore in me, if someone says something dumb in chat or something I don't really care about in chat, I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. It's like reading Reddit. You just skip over the stuff that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's like Diebear just said in the chat. The fact is, if someone's looking to troll, they don't care what your skin color or sex. They're just going to troll, which is totally true. They're just going to find people and just say things just to try to hurt your feelings, no matter what it is that that's different about the streamer.
Gotcha. Okay. And then my second question is, what do you guys do in your spare time when you're not producing content and doing online content creation? And do you guys play games when you're not streaming? And also, Shavrolet, I know I checked out your profile. It says you're a music producer as well. I recently just bought a MIDI keyboard because the YouTube algorithm recommended me like a stylophone. So I went on this like weird rabbit hole where I was suddenly looking at MIDI keyboards, and then I bought one. So it's my first instrument. So if you have any tips, that would be great. But yeah, what do you guys do in your spare time? And outside of that, I think I had one more question, but I'm gonna wait till you guys finish with this one while I let it formulate in my head again.
Okay. We'll start with Shav on this one. What do you do in your spare time, and do you play games off stream?
Yeah, so there's actually games that I usually don't stream either because I don't want to deal with changing quality settings on my stream because I'm lazy. Like Rocket League is really intensive and gets fuzzy because it's fast paced. So I usually don't like to do that on stream. Sometimes I just like playing with friends and try to grind out ranks. So stuff like that or stuff that's slow like Teamfight Tactics or something, I'll play off stream a lot. I haven't played story games in general in a while, but I don't imagine I would play too many story games off stream. I'd rather experience that with people than just playing by myself. I like being immersed, but also I like having people experience that kind of thing. I do make music off stream as well. Go to the gym 2 to 3 hours a day like I try to, and then just work in school, stuff like that. I guess to touch on your thing real quick for music stuff, the best thing I could tell you, I've been doing music like almost 9 years now. It'll be like my 9th year this year, and everything I've learned is on YouTube. Just like watch other music producers, look at like even just cheesy ones with the titles that are clickbait, like, oh, how do you sound like Virtual Riot, or how do you sound like Deadmau5, just stuff like that. They'll show you like some of the like sound design stuff and easy stuff like that. And as for a MIDI keyboard, you can just look up your model online and they should have some way to route it to your software, and that's really all you need. Most of them are just plug and play. You click a key and it'll line up with that key and that octave and your stuff. So that's pretty much it on that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, and Sadomi, what do you do off stream, and do you play games off stream?
I read, I work, I cry, I sleep, and I watch wrestling. And I play Rocket League. But yeah, I don't. If you ever come to my streams, you'll never see a video game being played. I don't play games on stream. I just talk about what things going on in the streaming industry and the gaming industry. And I don't like streaming games because I like playing games, but I don't like people talking to me while I'm playing my games, unless I'm playing like a cooperative game or playing together. So I only play games on stream. I might play Animal Crossing when it comes out a few times, but that'll be something I don't know. I only play games on stream, so I don't really focus on that. But mostly just a lot of rock clicking, a lot of reading.
That's fair. For me, what I do off stream, I know. Okay, so some of it is trying to watch other streamers, and just hanging out, just trying to like support friends. Other parts is, I do play games off stream. I sometimes, like a lot of the times, I'm playing the same games that I do on stream. I'll play them off stream with friends. I also play games that I don't stream, like Civilization, because I'm not going to go and stream one of the most dry games that you can have. As much as I do love it, I don't think I'd be a good streamer for something like that. And I know a lot of people would. Really
I would love to see you
it.
try.
Right, exactly. I know a lot of people would really enjoy watching Civilization, but me as a content creator, I know my limits, and that's not something that I'm going to be trying to do. Also, it's very off-brand for me to stream something that's not an FPS game, especially a multiplayer FPS game. Like occasionally I'll do a story-based or whatever, but it has to be a very special story, a very immersive game for me to do something like that on stream. But as far as the other things, a lot of what I do off stream is just thinking about my mentality for the next day and thinking about my mentality overall as a streamer. I do preach that, and I always talk about mentality as a streamer. We were talking about it earlier. I think it's really important, and it's important how you see yourself. It's important how you see your content, and it's just, you also need to find time to literally just sit there and zone out, because if you just only think about Twitch all day every day, there's been times where like I can do that for 4 or 5 months and be fine, but eventually it catches up with you to where it's very exhausting. So just finding other hobbies, other things that you can do to just relax and zone out for a little bit is really important. But I do spend a lot of time thinking about streamer confidence, how to handle certain situations, and just how to be ready to continue streaming for the long haul, because it's not easy. It's not easy grinding every day, and without making a lot of growth or anything like that. And that's just certain dips and certain hardships that every streamer comes across throughout their career of streaming. So just mentally preparing for stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah. I think I just wanted to, like, I guess, give off a little bit of a mini rant here, because I was waiting for quite a while. But it's not a problem. No offense to you guys or anything. I was just saying, like, I just noticed something while I was waiting. But so I was on the Twitch app, and I noticed that there's picture-in-picture, but only while in the Twitch app. So if you exit out of the Twitch app on your phone while you're doing something else, it will just completely exit out of the stream until you go back into the app. Mm-hmm. YouTube has it to where, like, if I hop out of the app, I can still get the picture in a rectangle on my screen and still kind of watch while I'm doing other things. And even Discord has a screen overlay where I'm not in the app, and it does that. And it just boggles my mind that we have, like, the richest man in the world owning Amazon, and then who owns Twitch and everything else, and they can't even, like, catch up to Google when it comes in terms of app features and stuff like that. And it's, like, really no excuse. I think I find that the whole, like, I think there was, like, something about a Twitter thread about how, like, I think, like, everybody was scared because Twitch revenue was down, I think, last year or something like that, mm-hmm. or below expectations. And, like, there was, like, this, I think, streamer or whatever who was freaking out, and he's like, you guys really need to stop with the ad block and stuff like that. But I'm going to be honest with you, watching on mobile is, like, really bad experience. Like, for example, had you guys invited me into the stream, or were about to invite me into the stream, and I had just hopped in, or whatever the case may be, to watch just to see where you guys were at, I would have had to watch a 30-second mm-hmm. ad play before I figure out what's going on, and then get completely caught off guard with it.
That experience on Twitch, I understand that. It's like not the best. App's not the best, but I mean, until there's like a third-party app, I don't think there's really going to be a perfect solution, because everyone wants different things. Development takes time, and they're mobile, and like I said, different teams do different things at Amazon/Twitch. So one team will do one thing, one team will work on just channel pages, one team will work on extensions, one team will work on the mobile app. So it all depends on the speed of those teams and the manager of that team, how they prioritize things, what their release schedule is, what their budget is. There's a lot of things going on. We can go on this all day, but otherwise, I think that's it's been good, man.
I think I do want to touch the part of Amazon owning Twitch, and obviously Amazon does have a lot of money, so it's easy to think that they could just fork over more money at Twitch to work on a better app, on updating things. But at the same time, like we were talking about earlier, Twitch isn't making the money that Amazon projected it to make, as based off the numbers from last year. So it wouldn't make sense to just fork over money to Twitch just to make certain things better. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, Amazon has all this money, but they're not just going to fork over money just for the sake of forking over money to Twitch because they have it. They want to make sure that it's something that is, returnable. So I understand the frustration with a Twitch app, but at the same time, there's only so much that they can do. And like Sadomi said, development takes time, and time is money. And they're not just going to keep forking over money on things that don't necessarily get them a return on that money. You know what I mean? Like the pop out for the Twitch app, like you get on YouTube, isn't really anything that would get them like a lot more money immediately. So it's hard to justify the cost of what it would take for a developer to make something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. I guess my main thing about it is just like they had first move advantage, like Sadomi said, and whatnot. And they kind of allowed their competition to get better than them instead of just like doing the whole like embrace, extend, extinguish motto that other tech companies before them have done. So like they could have implemented these features as soon as they saw those features on those other apps. Especially given that, there was a period in time where they didn't have to meet projections like last year. Like these are all features, like the channel points or whatever came kind of late, considering like Mixer had that feature for a while before the channel points came to Twitch.
Who's the competition that you think is doing better than Twitch, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, no, I don't mean just in general, like all around better than Twitch, but I mean like week after week after week, we talk about competition on Twitch or against Twitch, like YouTube and stuff like that. I mean, Sadomi has had podcast episodes where he's gone off about how like YouTube is going to be the end goal of where the streamers are going to be, essentially, right, unless Twitch picks up like a huge amount of slack that they have to overcome. But the thing is they kind of allowed it to get this way. They very easily, before the end of the year with the whole like not meeting projections and whatnot, they had more than enough time to implement a lot of these features. I just feel like they're lagging behind. But again, the same thing too is they can afford to see what works. I see both sides of this in a sense that like they can see what works after a specific time frame and then implement it their own way and potentially do it better. So like I get that. At the same time too, they could have implemented this a lot sooner rather than let time drag on a lot of these features too.
Yeah. So you made some good points here. Honestly, feel free to like DM me about this later. I want to talk to you about this later. But we do have 3 calls waiting, so I want to get on to them. So we'll
my
let
bad,
you go now.
I'm sorry. Have a great day.
You're good, man. You're good.
No problem. Thanks for coming on, man. Have a good one.
Yeah, not a problem. Bye.
All right, so now we're gonna get Papa Molly in here. Once
Wait.
No, that's the did I stutter? All right, let's get him in here real quick.
That flew right over Vel said.
No, I got it.
Oh my god.
All right, we're gonna get him in here real quick.
So dummy was about to fall out.
All right, just waiting. Oh, Papa Molly, what's up, man? Papa Molly.
Hey, can you... Hello.
We're getting a little echo.
From you, so your mic does work. You don't have headphones.
Yeah, no, it's my cell phone, man.
You might need to take it off the speaker if you have it on speaker right now.
Yeah, hang on.
By the way, thank you for calling in. We appreciate it.
How's that?
Test apples.
Oh, sweet, yeah. Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Jeez,
oh, now it's gone. Nope, never mind.
Still there.
I lied.
Oh, I can't win, man.
Maybe try typing in the chat if this isn't something that can get fixed, just because the audio is a little.
Well, hang on. Is this any better?
There you go.
Yeah, I don't think I can hear any echo now. I think we're good.
Perfect.
Okay, good.
All right, man. What's your question?
Let
us know. Lay it on us.
All right. Yeah, all right. So I've been involved in Twitch since Justin TV. Technically Justin TV since before it was Twitch. Now I've done esports, semi-professional, and like all this stuff. And when I started actually taking it serious and streaming, I only had like a crappy laptop. So my wife was like, "Why don't you just buy an Xbox and game casually?" I was like, "Okay, fine." I ended up going ahead and actually craving to stream while just playing. And lo and behold, it kind of took off. I got affiliate within like 2 weeks as an Xbox streamer, like unheard of, right? So I had a terrible car accident, sold my Xbox to eventually buy a new car and everything. So now I'm starting from scratch. And with all the money that the government's stealing from me, I'm getting back through my tax return. I am heading to Georgia up to Micro Center because I live in Florida, and I'm gonna go ahead and finally build my first actual like gaming / streaming PC.
Okay.
So with everything going on in the atmosphere, with Ninja leaving and Shroud, and then blah blah blah, and Twitch and bans and Alinity eating her cat and everything, rip the cat, whatever. What do you guys think is the purpose of maybe streaming on a different platform? And I'm not saying like Mixer or anything, or DLive, or that weird one, Caffeine, but possibly YouTube, because I am going to start making content on YouTube to go ahead and obviously, as Alpha Gaming would ever say, just go ahead and get discovered.
That was weird.
We're good. Anyway,
Okay, all right.
So I'll start this now.
Yeah, do it up.
Cool. Yeah. So essentially, I want to ask you. It doesn't really. It all depends on what you want to do. If you want to make streaming is anything more than a hobby, then I say you want to like think about your audience, think about who you're creating for, because I want you to dial in on someone that you are focused on creating for. Okay, create this person, make them as descriptive as possible, and then figure out what would they want to watch. Okay. Because I mean, you could just turn on your Xbox and just like stream whatever game you were going to play, and that's fine. That's cool. If you have fun doing that, go right ahead. And I recommend you start out doing that. But however you want to make content for, or wherever you want to make content, if you try to figure out who you're creating for and get as specific as possible, it'll help you figure out where you want to go. For instance, my content is I like it on Twitch right now for live streaming, because most people who are streamers are on Twitch. They live stream on Twitch, and so therefore they would like to watch things like this on Twitch, I assume. And also with YouTube videos, they can go back, and for me personally, they can find little tidbits of information that I'm focusing on, and they'll be like, okay, he said this, why he's saying this, da-da-da. They come in the stream and we have a discussion about it while I'm live. So as long as you have a plan, you can figure out which avenue you want to stream on first. For instance, Mixer, if you think you do something extremely unique, like literally no one else does it, but you're not sure how to market it, but you think if you just get eyes on it, people will enjoy it, then definitely for sure, probably a small platform like Mixer or Caffeine or whatever could be good for you. But at the same time, you really got to sit down and like write this down and like think about it. And like legitimately sit down and write this out. Don't just sit there and think, like write it out, type a long 10-page essay on it, and figure out what you want to do with your goals and ultimately who you want to create for.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, with each different one, obviously there's pluses and minuses to each. So I think Twitch has a user base, and obviously YouTube Gaming has a user base that are very appealing. Mixer, if I was a brand new streamer, if I was starting over, I don't think I would go over to Mixer or DLive just because it doesn't have the user base yet.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Right. And so honestly, for me, it's YouTube Gaming and Twitch, and YouTube has been making a lot of weird decisions recently that will demonetize channels a lot, which as a full-time streamer is a scary thought to me, because this is something that I rely on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So with all that being said, I still think that Twitch is the best one currently, but it's also, you have to ask yourself, how is YouTube Gaming going to be doing down the road, and how easy and how effective will a switch be for you and your community? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because like the whole like, I guess the discoverability meta is that you stream on Twitch, you take some of those highlights, you do a compilation, and you post them on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's going to be withstanding for a couple more years. But like I said, I'm just getting back into the game seriously. Like,
right,
dual monitors and like my own mic and like new chair, like just like everything to make sure that this like sets off.
One thing I will say is don't worry about the extra stuff. Like once you have your computer, once you have the hardware set up in order to just start streaming, just start, because each day that you wait is going to make it more and more difficult. You know what I mean? So as soon as you have whatever it is that you need, whether, you know, like a camera, microphone, computer, and obviously a chair to sit in, like I would just start making content. Don't need to wait to make things perfect. I know we say this a lot on the channel, but it is really important to literally just start streaming as soon as you have the opportunity to. You know what I mean?
I will say from my side, regardless of where you stream, I would say it's important to pick where you're streaming. If you pick one of the bigger known ones, like obviously you don't want like some like little off-brand one with like 200 viewers platform wide, that kind of thing. But regardless of where you stream, you definitely need to have other forms of social media. So it's not, so everything's not just pooled in one place. Because regardless if you go to YouTube or Twitch or whatever, if you're relying only on that, you're not going to grow as much regardless. Like if you were to get big on YouTube or Twitch solely, it would be a pure stroke of luck combined with the fact that you have good content. You like the more you have, the more you go out and put stuff on like Twitter or Instagram, you know, make your own Discord, things like that, and interact with people, the more chances you are that you get more eyes on you from somebody else, the more chances you are that you get your content out for more people to see or share. And then just more chances for you to like have a fallback plan if the platform you're on for your main thing, whether it be YouTube, Twitch, or whatever, gets taken down for some reason, like they either ban you or the platform just goes under or whatever the case may be. It's really important to have everything kind of combined together through multiple platforms instead of just one. Otherwise, you're just setting yourself up to fail if something happens, you know? So.
Perfect. Rest in peace, Mr. Molly.
Is Vel muted?
Vel,
I am muted.
He was, yeah.
Sorry, I was in the middle of typing when that happened. My bad. No, but Papa Molly, hopefully we were able to answer your questions for you, man. If you have any further ones, let us know. But yeah, I don't know exactly what happened there, but hopefully everything's working out for you, man. So we got more callers waiting. Currently, we have Crazy Eyes and Savage Voice. We're gonna pull Crazy Eyes in here.
Oh Lord.
Oh Lord.
Oh Lord, he coming.
You don't even know, chat. If you guys don't know who Crazy Eyes is, you're about to figure it out real soon.
I love this man.
He's the greatest and the worst. Crazy Eyes.
Hello.
I saw, dude.
Oh no.
Oh no.
How's it going?
Papa Collar.
How you doing? Papa Collar sweat. I did the top button and now I can't get it undone. This is very upsetting.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah, I don't like it. All right. Couple things. I have a question, a comment, concern, a criticism. I got 4 Qs. Boy, I want to give you.
Oh wow.
So first thing was a suggestion for Twitch. So, you know, I am the creator, editor, producer, director, and star of twitch.tv/Crazy Eyes. And I think that I should be able to just give a sub to whoever I want without paying for it. Like I should be able to, like once, maybe one a month, 2 a month, something. Give me like an allocation amount, give me something based on how many viewers I get, you know, like a thing, like, oh, I like this guy shows up and he's poor. So it's like, well, I wanted to keep coming back and watching me and not Sadomi because I'm better at Rocket League than Sadomi. And so now that's not true, but I want to be able to give him like a, you know, let me give him a sub. It's my channel. I don't see any money for that, but I think they would probably say no because Twitch doesn't see any money from that. Discuss.
So, so you're thinking every streamer on Twitch should be able to get to sub?
Well, like, yeah, like, you know, maybe one a month you can give one of your viewers a sub to your channel, and you know, like nobody gets no subs? Money exchanges hands for that, but it's like a nice little thing you should be able to do.
as long as like you're not just like expecting Amazon to just fork over that money, you know what I mean? Like,
no.
I just like every streamer on Twitch should be able to get an easy 250 for totally free.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah, honestly, that's a good idea.
You want to know the totally probably illegal secret to getting a free 250 every month?
I really do not.
Is it against terms of service to have somebody else in your household with Twitch Prime sub to your channel on Twitch? Is that allowed or is that not allowed?
I
wouldn't think so.
don't know.
You can't
We
put
have
Prime
Rob
there.
Busey.
Twitch Prime a little bit. Yeah,
We have Rob Busey in the chat to answer that question for us, and he'll also be the guest next week. So save that question.
Okay, I'll have to call in next week.
There you go.
What's your next question, man?
Okay, so Twitch API is changing, and it means it's going to break a lot of bots. But for me, it's like, oh no, I can't. I'm going to have to click on someone's name to see how long they've been following instead of them just doing that spammy follow command to see how long they've been following. And now that's like 8 more lines in the chat. I can't get this button. All right. It is an interesting thing because it's like, what if I build this following? I have like 8 people sometimes. And it's like, well, now suddenly I'm going to start speaking Korean. And it's like, that's kind of a similar situation, right? Like you're just going to change up your language like that. I don't know. I thought it was okay.
Well,
that thought didn't go anywhere. I'm sorry. This has been a train wreck, and I do apologize.
That's the collar.
Yeah,
It's
it might
reducing the
be.
blood flow to
At
your
least-
head. That's what's
at
going on.
least Change the color. All right.
Also, you
did
can't
wanna
fix
talk
this, so he
about-
lied to us. All right, he's a phony.
I did want to talk
No,
about
no.
caffeine. I had never heard of it until 48 seconds ago. So I jumped in. I
Yeah.
created an account. Aside from like the drug that we all crave, yes. But I created the account. I jumped in and I'm like, all right. And I click on a channel and the guy immediately goes, hey, crazy ass, what's going on? And let me tell you, I don't care for that shit at all. I don't want anybody to know when I'm lurking. That put me right on the spot immediately. And I almost closed out of Discord before I remembered I was calling into you. So I'm like, how did he know that? I didn't like that. So they've got some design choices they need to improve on. Definitely.
What's your question?
That's the why. Why would they do that to us? A group of people who are notoriously introverted. Why would they immediately be like, "Hey, this person's here. Say hi."
Is that an actual like built-in thing
Yeah.
on their platform?
Yeah.
I must
can-
tell them when I'm watching.
Wow.
You can so you can, when you type that in, you can actually, so when you're typing a chat message, it'll show up if you're doing a channel. Not every channel has this, and I don't think I have it activated either, but you can use that, and then you'll type in chat and it'll say, hey everyone, say hi to this person. And you can turn it off. I think you can close out of it, I think. But I mean, I think it's one of those features that's, again, it's a tool. You can use it however you want. Individual broadcasters can turn it off. I think that, honestly, I think it'd be better if we just took out the viewer list from anyone but mods and streamers.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not really a fan of, like, I feel like that leads to a lot of, because I've browsed Twitch privately, just because I'm a very private person. I don't like talking about a lot of things I don't need to talk about. So whenever I browse Twitch, I'm offline. Even on Steam, I'm offline unless I'm like waiting for an invite or something. Do not disturb on Discord. Do not disturb on Steam. And I think it's just like kind of nice to just not have that information available to anybody but the broadcaster and the mods themselves. So that's one change I'd be okay with having. But otherwise, I think the hello feature it's not the worst thing. I
would say bare minimum, if you block a channel from your thing, if you're gonna let them watch still, you should block the viewer list and chat from them, from them being able to see. Like you can't post in chat, but you shouldn't be able to see the chat, and you shouldn't be able to see the viewer list if the streamer doesn't have it on their stream.
Right.
If you're blocked, I would say the bare minimum. That's what Twitch needs to implement. Otherwise, I would say like you take it a step further, like like you said, just keep the view list from everybody, that kind of thing. The blocking and not seeing channels is a whole different topic, but yeah, bare minimum. If you block a channel, they shouldn't be able to see who's in your stream or whatever else, because that just leads to like people potentially getting harassed because they're in your stream and things of that nature. Because if you block somebody, chances are they've already been toxic to people in your community. So I would say that's a big thing they need to put in.
Right. And to answer your question about Twitch Prime subs from people in your own house, Rob Busey says that you can have people from your own home Twitch Prime sub to your channel, and he knows for a fact because his wife is his only sub.
Right. Okay. I wasn't sure because that's like a nice way to recoup $2.50 every month.
Yeah,
Prime,
which
because
is
Twitch Prime is getting expensive. It's like $120. I got to pay for all those shows I'm not watching. I didn't ask for that. Can I just get like a Prime Classic, like 100
Prime Plastic.
or that's fine. I guess I just pay for a lot of things I don't use. And I know
what you could do is just have a regular. You could just pay the $5 for a regular sub, and then you could drop Twitch Prime.
Excuse you. How am I gonna get hammers in 2 days? And like I need like a bale of hay and some bread. Like, come on, man. I need all that in 48 hours. Not now though. I don't live in a city. I can't get that in an hour.
It's not a marketing.
Yeah, and going back to the games that you choose to show, I got a couple notes here. This is not gonna be good for you. I only stream, because we got all these games I want to play. Like I play games offline. That's all I do. I don't have a life, and I only choose to stream those action-packed games like you. I stream mostly golf. It's fine. But you play Tarkov. That's not. Look, man, it's a lot of running. It's like PUBG. It's mostly just running, and then you see somebody, and then we get to watch you scream at a video game for 4 minutes. That's it. I'm so sorry. Sadomi, before I go, I just want to let you know that I do only watch you because of the way you look, man. You look so good all the time.
All the time, every other time.
And
No compliments allowed.
I would date yourself too. Come on, guy. So that's it. Those are my 4 cues. And I do.
There it is.
Right.
That's the classic exit. Crazy Eyes. If you don't know, now you know. We have another caller. We got Savage Voice. We're gonna try to pull him in here. A lot of callers today. This is awesome.
I love it.
Let's see.
Also, we had a question from the network too.
Right. I want to get all the callers, and then we'll get to that one. This
Cool.
whale.
So I like that question.
You know what? Savage Voice.
Hello, gentlemen. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
How you guys doing?
What's going on, man?
We're good. We're good.
Nothing much. I finally caught you guys live. My work schedule definitely has not been helping to that. Okay, I got to
Totally get it.
I've been making some bullet points because I've been, Sadomi would make, notes. So I've been listening, got a few notes, some talking points, try to keep it brief. One, I want to say as a fellow person of color, it was funny to me the first time it happened because I was on stream, I'm unaware half the time. And my advice would be to find a decent community where you can get some good mods. Because basically what happened was someone came in, dropped like 5 or 6 N-bombs, just literally just to come in and drop them, and before I realized it, by the time I got back to check, I looked and my moderators had literally they sniped him, bam, boom, you're out. I came back, they're like, oh yeah, we took care of it. He's banned. Don't worry about it. We reported him to Twitch before I could even do anything. So I think that's definitely helpful. And then I laughed at it. And my thought process, the way I looked at it, much like you're not a streamer if nothing's going wrong at least once every 5 streams. As a person of color, you haven't really made it until you get a troll, or just in general, you haven't really made it until you get a troll in your room. Then second, I want to say the last I did was incredibly good with the whole them letting us give 1 free sub because it's zero law. It evens out. It helps everybody. It'll get people to come and watch that may not. The reason why it's good is from a business standpoint. That would be able to get somebody. Let's say I post something on YouTube. They see it on YouTube. They're not a Twitch member or whatever, anything like that. They come in, I give that person a free subscription. Now they have a YouTube viewer as a Twitch viewer. So I think that would work out. Also, with the other gentleman was started a while back, and now he's starting over again. This doesn't necessarily apply to him, but in general, if you were on Twitch already, I'm basically taking a page out of Harris Heller, one of his more recent vids where YouTube is obviously growing and people are having that thought of, should I jump ship like they did with Mixer? But here's the benefit of YouTube versus Mixer. Make your content on YouTube like you're doing. Take your content from Twitch, make whatever you're going to make on YouTube, stay on Twitch, because if something happens to Twitch, you're already on YouTube, and then you just switch it over. Versus Mixer, which that's not the same situation. You switch to Mixer, it's a completely different animal. Stay on Twitch, or even if you're on Mixer, stay on Mixer, and then if YouTube takes over the world like they're planning to do, then you can easily just switch in and go that way. And then my actual question is, personally myself, one, I want to ask you guys who your favorite big time streamer, partners on this or any of the networks, whatever you want to call them. My personally, it's been Tim the Tap Man. I'm older, so getting into streaming, finding out who these people are, it's still relatively new to me. But him, I've gravitated towards more for, he just seems more like the type of person I am, as far as his show is more of, I'm having fun, this is excitement, stupid stuff I say with my friends, versus, no offense to Ninja. Ninja's great, but I personally would not be a Ninja fan as far as watching his content by itself. It's not my temperature, so to speak. But my thought or question is, what should we do? We're always looking at what Twitch can do, what YouTube can do. Here's the thing. What I've noticed with them is Tim's on here on Twitch. Ninja's on Mixer. Courage is on YouTube. They still stream with each other. Nothing as far as their streaming process has changed. They're probably making plenty of money. Those who don't get as much viewers made money to compensate for that. So what do you think us, other than who's your favorite streamer, what do you think us as streamers can do together to kind of, I don't know, build up what streaming is? Because I think as much as all of them are fighting the overlords, we're in a prime spot to capitalize because we are the product. So what do you think we can or should do to further capitalize on that, more than just pay me so I can go here or pay me so I can go there? What can we do together or should do to raise this whole industry up?
Okay, so who's our favorite big time streamer, and what could we do better to make, or what could we do to make Twitch a better place in general? As
a group, like what can or should, do you think there's anything we can do together? Like,
content creators as a whole.
Yeah, as a whole.
Okay.
Like not one platform, multiple platforms.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like so, gaming, but spread out.
Yeah. All right. We'll start with Sadomi on this one.
The first thing is not do dumb stuff. That's the first thing. That should be the easiest. Like, don't self-harm on camera. Don't throw cats. Don't spout racist bigotry. Don't spout hateful things if you get mad because you got someone killed you. Because that just makes all of gaming look bad. When someone is being completely negative in the space, such as like people making comments attacking each other, don't engage in that. Don't just ignore it. Don't even engage in it. Because silence is a real way to kill something on social media. If people are talking about it, it gets power. No matter it's positive or negative. So if it's something just negative, you talking about it isn't going to make more awareness in a good way. It's going to just be like more attention towards it. So when something positive happens, blow that up. Blow it up. Dr. Lupo raised how much? 1 million, and Twitch matched it for another 1 million.
Mm-hmm.
Post about that 4 times a day. Whenever someone asks you what you do, have a good hook. Don't be like, I play video games online for my 7 friends. No, don't do that. Make it sound professional. Make it sound amazing. Like, sell it in, like, sit down and work out to how to sell it. Because ideally, if you tell anyone who's not endemic to like the gaming sphere or Twitch space, they'll be like, do you get paid for that? Do people watch that? What is that? they get confused and they ask you questions that you probably don't have the answer for, or you don't feel comfortable asking. Like my favorite, do you get paid for that? That's like, I mean, if you say you do charity work, if you do charity streams, I'll be like, yeah, so we sometimes do charity work for X, X, and Y. Like I told people about the charity event we had here at True for Blue Star Service Dogs, and I got a lot of positive feedback from them. People were more interested in what we were doing. So you want to highlight the good things, and then just don't even pay attention to like the bad things for the platform. So that's the one thing to do to raise it up. Create public opinion so that it is the most positive experience they could imagine. And then they come on Twitch and they get disappointed because they get called hard R's and like a lot of rape jokes, and it's not like kosher. So literally just keep the positive discussion around broadcasting as positive as we can. Because as creators right now, with all of our sizes, we are essentially micro. We can't influence things on a macro level. Like a lot of like Ninja could influence on a macro level. Like Blue can influence on a macro level. The whole Twitch platform can influence on a macro level. We have to go from a micro level and start from the ground up by increasing the community in the best way we possibly can to ensure that people take what we do seriously, and what we're doing is something that is helping a lot of people, even though they can't see it that way.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said. Chevrolet, what do you think, man? Also, Sadomi, who's your favorite big time streamer? You didn't answer that one.
Oh, sorry. Right now it's Devin Nash. And I don't really watch a lot of streamers, ironically. I watch more YouTube content. So people who focus on YouTube content, people like generally follow. So Devin Nash, Ashley Christ. I love Alfred Sendrew just because I've watched him for years, and he's kind of like my guilty pleasure watch. So
all right. Shav, favorite big time streamer, and what can we do better, or what can we do to make streaming better for everybody?
I'm gonna give you two of my favorite big time streamers. I'm gonna assume when we classify big time streamer, we say in the thousands of viewers, like at least 1,000 or so. Yeah. So my two favorite big time streamers, I would have to say of all time and still, are Jericho and Gold Glove. I'm sure some of you have heard of one or the other at some point. Gold Glove has been around since forever. He was one of the original, like, really big variety streamers, still is. Just a really funny dude. They've always been in him and Jericho have been in the same friend group. They're really funny guys. And then they just try to do stuff that brings new stuff to the streaming space. Like Jericho just came out with a record label recently called Night Mode, and when they came out with it, he came out the idea he's getting with a lot of like big EDM artists and stuff like that, and they're essentially saying any content creator that streams or does YouTube or something, you can use their music, whatever, for your stuff. You're not going to get copyright strikes, stuff like that, and that's huge. And obviously them being content creators and content creators making stuff like that, they know like that's important for stuff like that, and that's going to get a lot more people in. So just stuff like that is really cool to see, especially from longtime streamers, because they don't have to do stuff like that to be relevant, but they believe in that stuff and they're passionate about it, and they keep expanding what they can do in the space. So that's really respectable, and I love stuff like that. As for what we could do to kind of bridge the gap and help things between platforms, I think Sadomi bringing up the point of like kind of like having a good pitch is a good point. Like even if I'm talking to like my grandparents or to somebody that doesn't know Twitch in general, they'll be like, oh, so like what is this? And I'll be like, oh, you can go on there, you can either watch people play video games, or you can go watch podcasts, you can watch people cook, they do art, a whole bunch of stuff like that. And I'll tell them, I'm like, yeah, besides gaming, I like people watch me for like hours on end make songs from scratch sometimes and stuff like that. And when you put it in terms of that, it's more interesting than saying, oh yeah, people just watch me play Call of Duty, and it makes new people more interested to check out the platform as well. Because if you say all that instead of just saying, oh, I just play Call of Duty, well, maybe that person likes gaming and like stuff like that, but they just don't like Call of Duty. When you just wash it down to something like that, right, you're keeping a lot of people out, and that's just gatekeeping a whole potential amount of people. And aside from that, just collaborations with other streamers, even if it's not on stream, like, you could do like podcasts together. Say if you're not on Mixer or Twitch, you know what I'm saying? Whatever platform the other person's on, you could do podcasts together. You could play games together and record it, put out that content, that kind of thing. That's an avenue you could do. instead of, because like the constant thing, if anybody isn't involved in streamer Twitters are really toxic. And
Garbage.
people argue all the time and yell at each other all the time over the dumbest stuff. And most of the time it's about like what content they make, which it's just ridiculous. So like if people would stop doing that and just be like, yo, we're called content creators, so regardless of the content we're making, you just stop shouting at each other for a few minutes and just say like, yo, like, I respect you're doing content, you're prospering off of it, that kind of thing. That would go so much farther than everybody saying it, no, you suck because you're doing this kind of content, and that's like a big first step we need to do, is kind of like look at how we treat ourselves versus how other people look at us.
Yeah. That's a big one, I think. Well, okay, so to answer the first question, my favorite streamer is definitely Tim the Tap Man. Sorry. I understand what you're saying about it, Savage. Like he definitely is just a guy playing video games, having fun with his friends, and he's good at games. He's funny. The people that he interacts with are funny as well. Chat trolls him, makes it a really good time. One thing I do want to say about that though is, like, just because it's working for Tim, I think it's really difficult to just do that on Twitch and make it. Like, as much as he's a role model to me, I've been trying to find ways to differ myself from that, because Twitch isn't really a place where you can just game and have fun with friends and grow anymore, because it's so competitive. There's so many people on Twitch that are doing so much more than that, that still have the personality of Tim the Tap Man, but they're adding on to that. You know what I mean? It's like, in order to grow on Twitch, it's not just a casual thing anymore. It's a daily grind to work on making the best content that you can. And yeah, some of it could still be just gaming with friends and having a good time, but there needs to be more. There has to be more avenues for your content to be discovered on, whether it's YouTube, Twitter, anything. There's so much more that it takes now than what it did when Tim the Tap Man was first starting out. Not to say that he doesn't deserve the success that he has. I think he, like, by far, he more than deserves it. But just wanted to, clarify that it isn't as easy as that anymore. You know what I mean? But in my opinion, what we could do to better ourselves as streamers and to better the streamer community is be less toxic towards each other. Shav kind of talked about it with streamer Twitter. It's garbage. It's the worst place to be. It's like 4chan. It's horrible. Like, you're not like there's just so much negativity being thrown around from streamer to streamer, and it's just not good. And I know, like, some of it is things like when a streamer sees one of their friends starting to kind of grow or blow up, they start to, obviously people wish that they would see that success, and that's a totally normal feeling. But what a lot of people need to realize is that just because that person's getting something that you want doesn't mean you still can't get it. And people need to support streamers who are seeing success, and we need to build each other up. And instead of being jealous, we need to just keep each other positive and support each other, cheer everybody on, because there's room for everybody to grow on Twitch. And I think it would just greatly benefit streaming in general on all platforms if we just stopped worrying about ourselves and started worrying about just building each other up and growing as friends and as, basically co-workers, essentially. You know what I mean? There's just so much negativity. There's just so much envy and jealousy on Twitch. And like I've had to deal with this too. I've had friends that do really well, and I get jealous, and it's so easy to have those thoughts. It's about what you do with those thoughts to make it to support that person instead of just worrying about yourself. You know what I mean? I think that's a huge issue on Twitch right now and streaming in general.
Oh yeah, definitely. I actually, it was funny. Maybe 1 or 2 weeks ago, I was streaming. My Discord has a regular stream, and I got rated with 1,000 viewers from J3, who's an Overwatch player. And, like I said, I'm old, I'm new to most of this. So the number obviously hit me, and I'm like, whoa. But I later found out that from one of my other friends and my mod that people started to leave. They left, like they were upset and they left. Because I have a knack of just lucky stuff happening to me where I get these, even if they're small in overall appeal, they're big for the moment. And, people get jealous, which I'm just happy and I take it with a grain of salt. I just want to leave with these closing words. One, I want to give a shout out to Dirty Brit. He calls every week, and I listen to the podcast when I can't call in or watch directly, and I want him to know, like, anxiety hits all of us at some point. Past few weeks was having moments of just pressing that start button was so hard. Once I did it, I was fine, but just pressing it, just pushing the button, just strangely just seems so weird and so difficult. And we all have our ways that we have to work through it. I'm getting through it now where I'm not having as much of an issue. And he's the reason why I first called in here. Like, I love podcasts. I know how hard it is to call into a podcast. And every week I would hear him on the podcast. And I'm like, okay, if he can do it, I can do it. And that's what I started doing. And from that, Valak, you've been good. Sadomi's been good to me. And I applied and I've become a true affiliate, which I think is awesome.
Hell yeah.
I didn't even realize it, in all honesty. I got accepted, I think, in December or November. And I just opened the mail like a couple weeks ago. And I was like, oh, wow, I should probably check these a little bit more often. But that was awesome. And stuff like this, again, this show is what I go to for news and discussion on what we're all dealing with. And there's a few. I mean, I probably have to widen my search, but there's not too many podcasts that really give you information of the what, where's, hows, and angles that you can work with. So I'm very thankful for that. And lastly, one thing that they'll never do, but would possibly be where things could go up, is I was watching Tim on the Twitch Bowl. I didn't realize it was going on at the same time as Super Bowl. I watched on YouTube. I only watch him on YouTube. I'm following, but I only watch him on YouTube. So like you said, you got to spread out and do it more in one place. But the Twitch Bowl, I enjoyed watching that. I think something like that would definitely make Twitch bigger. But what would be even better if they could ever do this, they probably never will, is have something like that, but where it's like Battle of the Network Stars, where it's Twitch versus Mixer versus YouTube, who has the top streamers or who has the top esports gamers. I think if they ever got to that, it'd be a windfall for all involved. But I'll leave you with that for your thoughts on that. Thank you guys for everything you do. You're awesome. Keep it up. Remember, don't tell yourself you can't do something. Ask yourself, why can't you do it?
Absolutely, dude. Thank you so much for all those kind words, man. That was awesome. Really appreciate you, listening to the show and calling in and asking questions when you do. And that was awesome to hear, man. Really appreciate you, bro.
Thank you, man.
Thank you. Take care.
Yeah.
It's awesome to hear that people, actually do get like help out of this. You know what I mean? Like, it's just cool.
Yeah. Honestly, this is one of my favorite things to come to on a Monday. Perfect. All right. And let's get to the network's question, because I do want to answer this one.
Yeah. Wait.
So,
my bad.
It's good. All right. So the network asked.
Removed him.
Anyway.
There we go. We'll add him back. My bad.
All right. Anyway, so the network. I was asked on Twitter who I would love to have as a sponsor. I posted 3 really carefully, and 1 to 3 followed me. Was the next step to take to reach out to them? First thing I would do is personally, I would just figure out if they.
We're getting an echo from you, Savage.
Oh, sorry, my TV.
No problem.
Should be good now.
All right, cool.
All right.
Perfect. All right. So, first thing I would do is figure out what they want from you, what they would want from you, what you can offer them, why do you want them as a sponsor, and why do you want them, pretty much work out all the whys. Why are you want them to sponsor? What can you offer them, and what can they offer you, and how does it impact you as a person? Because, as a brand. Because just because a company offers you a sponsorship doesn't mean you take it. And also think really hard. Because if you, let's use True as an example.
Vince.
Vince out here leaking.
Vince. Vince, what are you doing, bro? Oh my god.
It wouldn't be streaming if something didn't go wrong.
That's right. Oh man. All right. What were you saying, Sadomi? I think we're good now. Should we ban Vince? Is that what we do? I think we ban Vince.
I forgot.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
That.
Just
Go proceed.
Okay.
Do your thing, man.
just make sure you're not. Make sure you think about why you want to get a sponsorship and why all that. It's pretty much just think of the why for all of them.
So wait, I'm sorry. I lost everything that I just had. I'm so sorry. So the question is
What steps should you take to reach out to a company for a sponsorship?
Okay, all right. Shab, you want to take that one right now?
Yeah, I can. So
Yeah, do it up.
To backtrack it, so you know the whole context, the whole message was I was asked on Twitter who would I love to have as a sponsor, you know, probably one of those general engagement posts that people like to put out. They posted 3, obviously tagged them, and one of them followed them. What's the next step they should take? I mean, like, obviously, you know, if they follow you or something and they're interested in talking, I would DM them first off and be like, hey, do you have like a business email you want to talk to, or do you have sponsorship email, or would you rather talk at DMs? That's the first thing. Usually that shows like a little level of respect. It's going to go a lot farther compared to a lot of people, because a lot of people are just going to slide in DMs and be like, yo, how's it going? And, you know, the more professional you come off as a content creator, it's going to go a lot farther in business terms for you. Second is know your worth when they're giving you your terms, because you may not think your viewership might be a lot, but, you know, even like 4 or 5 viewers that are actively engaged are worth a lot in terms of what you could do to sell product and things like that. So that's something to keep in mind with that. You don't want to just have like some affiliate link that you're just going to feed and you don't get much out of it, where
Right.
like in like 20 sales, you'll get a discount off something, you know. That's pretty dumb. I did a sponsorship, kind of like a partnership, a little while back. It was so basically we went over the terms. They said like, hey, this is what you do. You just post like essentially it was like, you know, you post this thing with your code, yada yada yada, your post, and we'll send you free product, essentially like that. Those are the types of things you should be going towards. Even if you're not getting continually product, you should know your worth, that you should be getting something of substance from it and not just something that you're going to be selling constantly, you know. If you're not getting product and it just seems like you're selling stuff for them, it's probably not something you need to do right now anyways. You know, you don't need to have sponsorships to like validate yourself or anything, or you don't need sponsorships to like, you may think like doing like an affiliate link and all that's going to help you, but it's not going to do much besides you have to work overtime to try to like add stuff out of the way that's not going to help you in the first place. So again, like Sadomi said, just see what they want. But again, like the initial thing is just like ask them how they prefer to be contacted, that kind of thing. See if they have a dedicated person or if they just have a whole team of random people that go behind. Another good thing is try to become like good friends or talk a lot with the people that run those kind of things. You know, like a lot of things, like even Logitech have content creator partnership reps on Twitter that'll actively engage with content creators. If you go out of your way to engage with people like that, you have a higher chance of them seeing you, especially if you just like cold call, like send in a sponsorship email to a bigger company like that. If you're actively engaging with the people that run that stuff on social media, they're going to recognize your name a lot more than you just sending in stuff saying like, hey, this is me, this is my stats, I'd like a sponsorship, thanks. You know? So there's a whole bunch of things you just got to kind of think about when you're going into it.
Yeah. You touched on a really huge one. Know your worth, and I think that's very understated for sure. That's not something that people will usually do, because people think that they apply for a sponsorship, they get the affiliate link, and then they just put the logo up on their stream, and then that will get them more interaction because they're affiliated somehow with this really cool brand. But that brand is basically using you as a billboard where they don't have to give you anything. You know what I mean? Especially if you're not getting much off of the sale or anything like that. Like, I'm not saying like you need to do everything for monetary value, but you should also know that any space that's taken up on your channel should benefit you in some way more than just a quick bit of chat interaction. You know what I mean? Also, just if you want to apply for a sponsorship with something, make sure it's something that you actively use, or something that you fully support. Because if you don't really support it and you're just doing it for some sort of gain, it's not gonna. It'll look cheesy. You know what I mean? So just apply for the things that you actively support, and also make sure that it's actually worth your time and worth putting up on your channel. Make sure it's worth the real estate in your panels on your screen, because you don't want to have too much stuff going on your actual stream overlay. So think of how worth it actually is. I hope we were able to answer your question for you, Savage.
Yeah, you guys are awesome again. So thanks for everything, bro.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. Thanks for calling in. Thanks again for the kind words, my guy.
All right, take it easy, guys.
See ya. All right, I think that is going to be it for today. Network, we're going to get to your question next week because we do have to get to wrapping it up right now. It's just a little bit past 1 p.m. EST.
That was Network's question.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
Need more coffee. Well, there we go.
Yeah, we covered all the bases. We're solid.
We're good.
Dope. All right, so Shavrolet, you want to do your quick sign off? Where can people find you, and why should they watch you?
Yeah, so you should watch me because I make dope music you probably never heard of, and I'm really fast in my fingers on a fake guitar. So check me out at twitch.tv/Shavrolet, youtube.com/theshavrolet, and twitter.com/Shavrolet.
There you go. Sadomi, the co-host, as always.
Everybody, thank you for watching the StreamKey Podcast. I always love being on the show. It's like one of my favorite shows to be on, for sure. But if you want to see some more of me, if you want to keep the discussion going, I'll be live in about an hour on my own personal channel, twitch.tv/Sadomi. And we're going over some leftover topics for StreamKey today and a few others that I have lined up. So I'm excited. I hope I see you all there. And if not, you can catch me on YouTube, on youtube.com/Sadomi. I got the URL. Let's get it. And on Twitter at twitter.com/Sadomi TV. There we go. Perfect. I can talk today, I promise.
All right. And I am Belloc_TV. That's the same thing on all platforms. Play FPS games, and I let you guys laugh at me for being fat. But that is it for today. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks everybody for asking us questions. Really appreciate it. The more questions we can get, I feel like the show goes better, and I just really like helping people out. I know we all do. Really like answering your questions for you guys. It means a lot. We'll be back next week, Monday, 8 or 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be Play with Jambo and Rob Busey are going to be the guests. So
It's going to be a great time.
You guys again. Have a great day. And Sadomi,
blaze it, baby.
There you go.